We're missing about 596 freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Please make sure you log into your Zello course planner this week and select your classes. The sheets are just an aid unless you have entered them into Zello course planner. You are not enrolled. Students that pick their classes by the end of this week may be placed in a priority section for the semester schedule. If we don't get more numbers in, we will have to extend course selections for another week and kick off the master for another week. So please make it a priority this week. Most advisories are still missing about 13 days.
So it's like since this is tomorrow, and we've gone through our process list like 6 times. So I'm like, they're not going to do it at this point. So.
Would you guys mind, all of you guys, sitting around that view? Thanks, guys.
I hit that thing like 3 times and I still don't remember it said. I'm going to give you all. Is that this year?
We make copies too for all advisories. I'd say if we wait just a minute or two and then I think we should be good. But none of these are the same that I emailed to, so that's, there we go. That works. I was like, I'm so excited.
I know.
What's your date?
I'm doing June 9th.
Okay.
So I'll come back like this time in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was just like, my whole team was like, you had Violet in August too. I was like, I know.
Yep.
I didn't do that on purpose, but it's really convenient for
right.
me.
Well, and okay, so my oldest was end of September, and then my boys are both beginning of October. And so when they were little, we do all 2 birthday parties at one time. And then now they all think they need their own, but
Yeah, it'll be June and July.
yeah.
So just like, if we want to do just a big pool party at Grandma's house, we just do a big pool
so
party at Grandma's
perfect.
house.
So
It was
perfect.
summer birthday, we always had
Yeah.
a pool party. I was
Yeah.
like,
It truly is, yeah.
winter is hard. You gotta find something indoors that's not free.
Right, and usually when August, because mine's in August, everybody's getting ready to come back to school, so they're not on vacation. So more
Right.
people can come, and
That's why I'm like, with June 9th, I'm like, we're gonna run until Labor Day probably a lot, because I feel like it'll be the week before most likely.
right.
But yeah, I'm gonna have another girl.
Oh, that's
And I was like, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
2 girls would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I think so too. And I wish I'm kind of a sister. And she has 2 brothers, and it's fine, but
But there's some girly stuff that she would like.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And she has a cousin who's very close. They're 9 months apart, so she just hangs around Kate all the time. But oh,
So we're just like, actually, and she's kind of already been doing it. Because when we kind of reconfigured everything and I took over all the academies, and
Yeah.
then it got a lot bigger, and then I got more supervisor roles, I realized like, oh, I gave myself too much to do.
Right,
So
right.
she's already basically been doing it all year, so I was like, I'm making it official, I'm putting her name on the flyer.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now I love that you guys did
Me too.
separate it, and I just feel like it's easier. Parents won't ask me all the questions. It's like most of it's here.
I hated to like I put it into AI and was like, how do I make this better? And then I was almost irritated at how obvious its responses were, and I was like, because I needed to fit information on the front. I was like, how do I do this without fitting more information? And ChatGPT was like, you have 8 to 11 written on 15 programs. And I was like, oh, you're right, too.
That makes sense.
And it's like, you would save 3 inches of paper if you didn't have City Center written under each of them. And I was like, I was kind of irritated how common sense the answers were, but I was really happy and it worked out. But
And once you do it, it's like, oh, this looks good, this works. And then it's like, you don't think about all the little things.
Well, and Megan was like, this way too, if they don't know what orientation to come to, it's like
Right.
obvious.
Yeah, 100%.
The funny part is we have this today and then one more high school on Friday. And up until like 5 minutes ago, the presentation was in a different order. And I finally was like, switched it today. So I was like, we did like 15 of these and I didn't think to switch it until just now.
That's funny. All right, I'd say we can go ahead and
Okay.
go.
Do you know if it's already set up to record?
Yeah, I think it should be good. He'll crop what we need.
Okay. I'm going to trip over that as I go back and forth, so I'm just
don't do
not
that.
going to move myself. I already kicked it 5 times today. Okay, hello. My name is Ashton. I'm with WSU Tech, and I'm one of the advisors for the Academy programs. So what we want to do today is I'm just going to tell you some very basics about the different programs and some things that you might learn to kind of help pique your interest a little bit. And then your responsibility is to take that information, say like you circled a program or two that you like, and do a little bit more research on it to see if it's something that you really want to do. My email is up here along with another girl named Ashley. So we're Ashley and Ashton. It's not confusing at all. Just it's one of the Ash people is who you talk to at WSU Tech. It's actually a little bit easier, honestly. But if you want to know the classes that are in the program, the order of classes, what all you need to take, you can just email one of us and ask us for the details about your program. We can send that to you. But I think you could also go on Google, ask the internet what someone who is a CNA does for work, what someone who's a welder does for work. You can look on job sites like Indeed, see how much that person gets paid, see what kind of things they would be doing on job postings, and then also just talking to adults in your life and adults in the high school to see if this is something that you want to do. So today is a very introductory, I'm going to tell you some basics about it, but it'll be pretty quick, and then it's up to you to just do a little bit more research to see if solidify your choice. And then at the end we'll talk about pre-registration, how to go about it, what you'll do at the high school, what you'll need to do at WSU Tech too. So starting with City Center, everything that's up here is also on your flyer, but at City Center we have 3 automotive type tracks. So we have traditional automotive, alternative fuels, and mobile equipment. They all have very similar things that they learn, like no matter what type of fuel or energy powers a vehicle, it all has brakes, right? They all still have steering and suspension. All that stuff is the same. The engine is essentially what's different. So what students do is you would pick one track, start there, and you'd spend 1 school year on one of them. And then your second school year, you would take the other 2, just kind of a mishmash of classes, and you'd end up with all 3 degrees. So traditional automotive, we're going to think of that as repair and maintenance on anything that you drive to Quick Trip and put gas in it and it still goes. Basic cars that most people drive. Alternative fuels, we're thinking electric vehicles, anything that's not powered by gasoline. And then mobile equipment is diesel, so we're talking large diesel, not like just a F-250 truck. We're talking about semi-trucks and tractors. So you would learn a little bit about all 3. Why is that a good idea? Makes you the most profitable employee when you're applying for jobs. So if you pull up to any of the dealerships along Kellogg in Wichita, they have diesel vehicles, they have electric vehicles, and they have traditional gasoline. You know how to do maintenance and repair on all of those things, they're more likely to hire you. So that's why we have it built that way. But if you are dead set on only learning diesel, I only care about diesel, that's all I want to do, that is also an option. It's just not the one that I'll recommend first. So those are the 3 automotive type programs. Construction technology and electrical technology fall under our skilled trades umbrella. So construction, again, we're learning the basics. We're learning how to use power tools, how to use hand tools the correct way also. Most people aren't using a hammer correctly. I didn't know there was a way to use it wrong, but there is. Learning how to use the hand and power tools, learning how to actually read a measuring tape. One thing about construction that not a lot of people know is that you are adding and multiplying fractions. So applied math is something that you need to know. There's no requirement, like I'm not going to ask for your transcripts to see what grade you got in Algebra 2. That is not something that I really need to see. But just know applied math is a part of it, but construction calculators exist also. So you're learning the basics of building a structure. So, I mean, perfect example, you've got a structure coming on attached to the other side of the building that you guys have been able to kind of see come up. So you can see all the different elements. They did the dirt work, they did the concrete, they built the structure, now they're adding the outside. You're gonna learn the elements of those things as well. Electrical technology then comes in. We're talking about residential interior electrical, essentially. So like the reason we have power in this building, the outlets in the floor. So our electrical technology program is not the lineman, where you restore power after a hurricane on a pole. It is putting electrical inside of a home or a structure. We have climate and energy control. That one is also part of skilled trades. So that is the long words for HVAC, heating and air, and refrigerants. So maintenance and repair on heating units to make sure that your house doesn't get too cold. Maintenance and repair on an air conditioning unit so it doesn't get too hot. And then the refrigerant side of it is one of our newer parts of it. We've been doing that for about 4 years. And that's going to be, for example, we're going back to Quick Trip. You walk into Quick Trip, the entire back wall of fridges is broken, everything's warm. Are you buying a warm Dr. Pepper? Most people won't want to spend their money on that. Some people will. That's fine. That's your choice. But most people going into Quick Trip are there for a cold drink, so they might not spend their money on that. And that is just money and customers that Quick Trip is losing constantly. So we are doing maintenance and repair on those refrigerators to make sure that doesn't happen. What is happening? We don't need to log into Microsoft. Okay, welding is our last one that we have at City Center. This one does not fall under the skilled trades or automotive umbrella. It is actually part of manufacturing, which is typically at a different campus, but we have so many high school students that want to do welding that we built our own campus for it, essentially. So we built our own labs at City Center that are exclusively for high school students. You are going to learn the 4 main types of welding. So oxyacetylene and gas metal you will learn first. We do those first because those are the ones that if you wanted to get a job after year 1, that's probably what people in this area are hiring for. Then you learn gas tungsten and shielded metal. So that's MIG, TIG, and stick for those of you who actually know the real words of what those mean. So we are doing some blueprint reading and we're doing some actual metal fabrication. And then there's a virtual reality side of it as well. So you will have classroom, physical lab where you have a piece of metal and a welder in front of you. And then we have a virtual classroom where you are basically practicing on a virtual welder. So you're getting lab experience 2 days of the week rather than just in our physical lab. And then you also basically have someone grading it right then and there. The computer grades it for you. So just getting a little more feedback on our virtual side. WSU South doesn't really have a theme. It kind of has everything else that's not manufacturing, aviation, or skilled trades. So cloud computing and computer support specialist are 2 of our IT tracks. Computer support specialist could eventually branch off into cybersecurity. So we have 3 main degrees, but cybersecurity and computer support start in the same thing for year 1. And then starting year 2 is when you can start to emphasize in cybersecurity if you want to. So cloud computing and app development, think of your phone. If you have an iPhone, it's stored in the iCloud or whatever, right? My stuff is stored in Google because I don't have an iPhone. If that were to crash, your stuff's gone forever. All your pictures, all your contacts, everything that was stored in your phone. One of the elements of that program is making sure that doesn't happen. So while we do maintenance and repair on a car, technology also requires maintenance and repair. So that is a side of it. Also, building out that, the app development side of it, you're building out those things too. Computer support, I was like, perfect example. Literally came in here, my internet wasn't working, had to ask for help getting internet. My computer's not working, I can't connect to the printer. Those are very basic things that computer support can do. That side also has a little bit to do with being a web developer. So we have people at the college who, when you apply to the college, they set up the application for me, they made it look how I wanted it to look, and they have it doing all the things and going all the places that when you hit submit, you're a student with us. So they are building out those pathways in the computer systems. Cybersecurity is what you go into in 3rd semester if you wanted to. Thinking about buying anything online. You want to make sure that your credit or debit card information is secure if you're putting it into a computer, right? So firewalls, protecting them, building them, trying to break them, fixing them, an element of it. Like I said, this is all very surface level of what you'd learn, but those are kind of the basics of what you're going to learn that side. Vet Assist, that one is only 1 semester long. It is preparing you to join our full vet technician program if that is what you want to do. We basically took a couple electives out of our vet tech program and we're going to teach them to you. So you're going to learn a little bit of lab and diagnostics. So you're going to take some fake samples, run them through a diagnostic machine, see what's going on. You're going to learn some animal restraint. So if you have an animal that you've taken to a vet before, like I have dogs, and they get freaked out when you put them on the high table, right? So the vet assist is kind of like hugging them to calm them down. There's a very specific way that they hold them to make sure they're not going to get bit, to make sure they still have access to give them the shot, whatever they're doing. You're going to learn that side of it. And then there's a little bit of animal CPR that goes into it. So it is only one semester. It is a very low credit hour program. You're just getting an experience of the vet assist world, but it would help you get a job in a vet field if you're planning on furthering your education in the vet world. Criminal justice, that one has a little squiggle next to it because in that one I'm going to ask for a high school transcript. So criminal justice is about 50-50, hands-on, actually like reading a script and you were in a car accident, I'm the police officer, tell me the report of what happened and I have to write down what I need to know. Actually doing those things, there's a little bit of the CSI side, you're going to learn the fingerprinting, you're going to learn how to collect evidence bags, all of that stuff. But then in the criminal justice world, there is a lot of report writing, right? There's a lot of paperwork. So we need to make sure that you passed the previous school year's English with an A or a B to be eligible to take this program. So if you did not get an A or a B in the English you're finishing right now, then we will probably have you wait until the next school year, work on your English grades and come back. Because we want to make sure that when you're doing those report writing things, you're proficient enough to not get scored poorly because you didn't do so well in your English class. Business. This one is one of the ones that we have that is called a 2+2 with Wichita State. You can get our business admin associate's degree and transfer it to Wichita State and only have about 2 years left of their business degree. Newly this year, we have this one in person. The first year, everybody takes the same classes. And then after you can branch off and choose business administration, accounting, operations management, or logistics as our 4 pathway choices. So you can kind of decide where it is that you want to go in the business world and do a pathway that connects to it. That one used to require placement testing. It doesn't anymore. We're good if you just can hop in the program. And then the 2 that we have over here are healthcare programs. EMT, most students take this senior year because you have to be 17 to get your EMT license. It's only 1 semester, so I've recently had a lot of students who will take Healthcare Academy in the fall and EMT in the spring. So then in Healthcare Academy, you'd have certified nurse aid, phlebotomy, EKG, and medical terminology. Then you would get EMT in the spring, or you could just take them separately. They both have admissions requirements that are some healthcare documents like a TB test, because you'd be doing clinicals or doing ride-alongs, and we don't want you to accidentally give a resident tuberculosis. We also want to make sure you don't have tuberculosis, because that's important. And then Social Security cards, immunization records, a physical. If you decided that was the program you'd want to do, we would send you a little packet that says what you need to turn in. Something to keep in mind with the healthcare program that is new this year is that if you are taking our Healthcare Academy, you cannot have already taken CNA, phlebotomy, EKG, or MedTurn, because you have to take all 4 of those in our academy. So we have only 20 spaces in that. So if a student already took 3 of those classes, we're kind of, I don't want to say we're wasting a space because that sounds mean and not what I'm trying to say, but we want to fill all of those seats with all 4 classes. So that is just something to keep in mind that is new. And then the last campus is our aviation campus in CAT, where we have aviation maintenance. So that one has this little testing and tool cost under it that is also written right here because you guys aren't taking this home with you. It's written right here. So that is very similar to automotive, where it is maintenance and repair on an airplane. But it is mandated by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. So there are 3 FAA licensure tests you have to take, and then 2 toolkits that you have to purchase to be able to finish the program. But the tuition for the actual courses is free. So the costs are listed down here. After semester 1, when you take the first general test and you pay the $675, there are scholarship opportunities provided from Bombardier Aircraft that will cover or help cover the rest of it. Okay, so you just have to get through the first semester showing I can take these classes, I can pass them, and then you can apply for scholarships. Those scholarships are usually given to 8 students. We have about 25 students in the program. Never have everybody filled it out. I've literally gone to the classrooms, I've gone to the classrooms and sat down and said, let me help you fill this scholarship application out. And they just don't. So it's very likely if you actually apply, you're gonna get it because nobody else is applying apparently. Top 2, design programs, architectural and engineering. Engineering design, one little disclaimer on there is if you want to go into an engineering degree, say at Wichita State University, this program will not transfer. They're not gonna accept our classes. What you will get is experience. Experience in the CATIA drafting software, which is very important if you're going to be an engineer. It is the software that you would use to literally do your job. So you're going to come into it with more experience and more knowledge on the software platform, but you're not going to come into that bachelor's degree with credits, okay? So it is still very beneficial for you to do, but if your ultimate goal is to go to Wichita State or another school for an engineering degree, we might want to just talk about what your full plan is and decide what options we should take. Architectural design, you're going to learn AutoCAD, which is a computer-aided drafting program, and Chief Architect. So AutoCAD, essentially, let's think about the blueprint of this library. It is, when we drew it out, white piece of paper, lines on it that have the word windows and a distance. It is just a flat piece of paper with lines on it. We would do that on the computer, then you get the big printer with the rolled up papers you see architects carrying, and you have it in front of you. Chief Architect is where we then take it and we say, okay, those pillars we drew, we want them to have brick. So we add an image of brick. We want the carpet to look like this. And so we're actually making it look like a 3D image with Chief Architect to get the full picture. Last 2, Drones Academy. So drones is learning how to operate the drone and earning your Part 107 license, which allows you to fly it for a job legally. You can buy and fly any drone that you can find, but there's laws about where you can fly it, how high you can go, and how far away from your physical standing position you can take it. So when you have the license, you can fly a bigger drone higher up, farther away from where you are. And machining. Machining is using computer numerical coding, CNC. So that is Cartesian coordinates, which is the fancy word for the X and Y axis that you learned in like first grade, right? Easy math, X, Y, put a dot there. That's what you're using to map out an image. So think of like a house key. You know how you can go to the hardware store and get a house key cut to match yours? Same concept, except our machines are much bigger, much more sophisticated, and print like airplane parts. So we're putting in the X and Y axis of what we want our key to look like. We hit go, the machine cuts the house key for us, okay? So, like I said, surface level basics of all of our programs. So now let's talk about applying. So that is page 2 and 3. Step 1, that application, that is what you can do now. So between now and March 1st, we're getting that application done. It should take you 5 minutes, maybe 7 to 10 if you're doing it on your phone because it's a little bit more scrolling. All information that you should know, with the exception of you might need to ask an adult for your social security number. It's the only thing that you probably don't know. It's your home address, the high school you go to, grade you're in, basics about you. Make sure that you are taking note of the email you use and the password you create, because on March 2nd at like probably 9:55, you're going to log into that account. And then at 10 a.m., I hit a button that says Open Fall 2026, and all of these programs will now become available for you to look at and see and choose, okay? Mrs. Allen, where will they, or how will they go about knowing when to do that? That was not a sentence, but it's fine.
At the end of this meeting, what I want is for you to sign up, and then I'm gonna follow up with you guys to make sure you can access it, you know your logins, all of that stuff. Then on March 2nd, I'm gonna have a pass for everybody who's signing up to meet in the Commons, and then it'll be a little before 10. And then at 10 a.m. is when we'll open up, I'll make sure that you guys are good to go, and then you'll go back to class. So it'll be in the Commons, but the first step will be signing up so I can make sure that we get everything done.
And then from March 2nd until about April 15th, you get to sit and be extremely patient, because I and my team will be enrolling everybody in the classes, sending it to Mrs. Allen to make sure that works with your high school schedule, everything aligns the way it's supposed to, and then you will get a copy of your schedule and an invitation to these orientations. It's called an invitation, but it's really not an invitation, honestly. So if you have something to write down with you, write down the orientation date, snap a picture if you have your phone on you, whatever you want to do. These are mandatory. You can reach out before the event and say, I can't make it, can I be excused? But I will tell you that there's a couple of reasons that are not valid excuses. So work is not an excused absence because it is February 16th. You can ask off for work today for these dates. So I have work is not a valid excuse. School sports is. We always run into like track and softball qualifiers or baseball. I don't know what sports are which season anymore. Track is the one I run into the most often. School sports are excused. Club sports are not. Okay, so there's just a couple things. If you're worried if your thing will be excused or not, just email me and ask and I'll let you know. If you do have an excused absence because your school sport interfered, you have until June 30th to meet with me one-on-one and make up for it, basically. And if you do not meet with me or you no call, no show to the orientation, Mrs. Allen will agree. Day after orientation, I will email her and say, this student didn't show up, they've been dropped from their program. So it is a very serious thing because it is my first idea of whether or not you're going to take this seriously. So we told you it's mandatory. We send you the invite. I'm going to bug you so much until you sign up to come. And I'm going to send you reminders saying, hey, it's tonight. Make sure you show up. So if you no call, no show, you've basically told me that you're not taking it seriously and I should give your spot to someone who is. Okay? So we've got those dates. You will get the information on all of that. It will be on WSU Tech's website too very soon. So if you forgot, you accidentally deleted the screenshot, you lost the paper you wrote it on, I put it on our website. Okay? So lots of ways for you to know, and like I said, I'm really gonna bug you. Okay? So if after today you're interested, even if you're still on the fence, write your name down on your way out. If you have a question for me about something, I'm gonna be here, but you also have my email. But for the sake of you guys getting where you're supposed to get to on time and everything, y'all are good, but ask me again.
So once again, this does not mean you absolutely have to, it's just that you are interested, and then I can kind of meet with you to